Hello and welcome to Tech Tuesday, presented by Delta Media Group, where we heard about some drama over at the local campground the last weekend, and, well, let's just say it was intense. So, today we're going to take a look at the customer review import functionality that we have just added to the DeltaNet. So, the customer review system allows you to define customer reviews that will show up on a reviews page on your website, and they can also show up on reviews displays on your home page or on custom pages throughout your site, depending on what you have set up for that and what you've configured there. So, the way those reviews get into the system is they can either submit a review on your website, assuming you have that form turned on, and you can then approve or deny that review to show on your website. Secondly, you can go in and you can enter a review manually, and now you can also take a whole list of reviews that maybe you've exported from a third-party system, and you can import them all at once to get them all into the system in one big group. So to do that, we're going to go to Marketing and then down to Reviews. So that link will be there by default, but because this is customizable on a company basis, you may not have that link in here. You may not even have it on the marketing page because these tiles up at the top are customizable as well. But you can generally go up here to the top to the quick actions bar and just type in reviews, and you can see a manage reviews option comes up here. And if I click on that, it just loads up the same page. So the way this page works is once a review is added to the system, it will by default drop into this needs reviewed column. And then once I've looked it over, if I want to approve that review, I'll just click the approve button. That'll move it to this approve tab and display it on my website. Alternatively, I could click deny, and that would take it over to this, or rather disapprove. If I click disapprove, it'll put it under this disapprove tab where I will keep a record of it here, but it's not displayed anywhere on the website. Now the next thing I can do is I can delete this review if I don't want to keep it, and then I can also click edit if I want to make any changes to it. Keep in mind as well that once you have disapproved a review, you can still go in here and click approve to move it over to approved. And likewise under approved, you can click disapprove to move it into disapproved and basically take it off of the website. So under the Approve tab, you can see we have just a convenient link to the customer reviews page on our website. So it's just a handy way you can get to that page quickly without going to your website, depending on where you've put that link, whether you've put it in your top navigation or just have a link on your home page. So just a nice convenient shortcut there. Now the next thing you can do here is click on Edit, and that will take us to edit any of these reviews where we can change basically anything about that particular review. And then if we want to add in a review manually, we'll just click on Add New Review, and you can see it loads up that same form, but in this case everything is blank. So if I did want to add in a review manually, I would put in first name, last name, email address. Optionally, I can define whether I represented them as for buying, selling, or commercial. Because I do have the star rating system turned on, I am required to put in a star rating, so I would just select my star rating there, put in my review content here, and then I can also add some photos that'll display along with that review. Again, this is optional, and you can see there's a little information bubble here that gives you some information about what you can put there. Now, if you do add photos to a review, they should show up on the reviews page and then maybe on the home page, depending on what agent website template you're using. Some will support that and some won't. And then lastly, you can define the date that you did receive the review. You can leave this blank, and it will consider it the current date. So you can see it will show entry date if this is empty, so the date that I'm putting it in. And then you can actually go through your review settings, and we have some other videos that really deep dive into the settings for the review system. But you can go into the settings and you can disable the date received from displaying entirely. So you'd still put these in if you want to. If anything, it'll control the sorting, or basically how they're sorted on your reviews page. However, they won't actually display the dates on the page. So that is up to you. So we'll cancel this. Now, with the new functionality, what I'm able to do, instead of just waiting for those reviews to come in and then approving or denying them, or going in here and putting them in manually, I can now click on this Import Reviews button, and I can import reviews from a CSV. So you can see that takes me to this new page here. So what I'll do is click on Choose File, and you can see it gives us some information up here about what it is we can import or how we import these. Now I will point out, when you're doing a review file import, you have to import it in a specific way. So really the first thing you'll want to do is go over here to this button. So you see an Excel template file is available for download. It's really a CSV template. So if I click here, it'll download a file. And then when I open that file, it will have a series of columns laid out in the way that I need to fill them in order to be able to import those reviews into the system. And you'll get a better idea of that here in a second. Basically, it just gives you a spreadsheet with the headings filled in, and that's about it. So all you have to do is fill data into the columns below each of those headings, save it as a CSV, and then once that CSV is saved, you'll be able to click on Choose File. You'll see your CSV here, so we'll go ahead and click on this one, Open, Submit CSV File, and you can see it, because I filled in the columns the way they were laid out in the template, it has laid everything out here for me. Now this was just a test file, but it gives you the general idea. So down here, the way that CSV would look is it would have an agent ID column. It has a customer first name, last name, content, and date and rating columns. So basically, all of these columns in the CSV, I just fill in the review data below them with the appropriate data. So all the first names, the first name column, last names in the last name column, etc. Once I have that all filled in and I bring those in here, you can see that it will let me know if there is invalid value in these. So if the system sees a problem with any of the fields that I've entered here, it should indicate that problem to me. I can then choose which of these I'd like to add. So all of them will be checked by default, but if there were some in here I wanted to leave out, so let's say I don't like this one, I can just uncheck that, and that will leave it out of the list. And the next thing I can do is I can choose how I want these to import. So by default, it'll import them all as approved. So I won't have to go through and approve each one. They'll already be approved and they'll already show on my website. Now the next thing I can do is I can import them all as needs reviewed. So it'll just put them all in that needs reviewed column, and then it'll be up to me to go through each one individually and approve the ones that I want to show on the site. Lastly, I can import as approved with 4+ ratings. So what that means is any of these that have a 4-star or greater rating will automatically be approved, and the rest will not. So, for example, here you can see that this one gave me a 3-star review, so that one wouldn't be approved automatically, but the rest are 5 and 4-star reviews, so those all would be. So to finalize this process, if everything looks good here and everything's sitting in the right columns the way I want it to, I'll just click Submit Selected Reviews. It entered 4 because we unchecked one, so it left that one out of here. And now we'll go back to our Manage Reviews page, and we'll take a look at the reviews that were imported for us. In fact, we'll just click over here. There we go. So now you can see 2 of them dropped into this Needs Reviewed column. And then if we go over here, the rest dropped into Approved. So here was one of our entries from that particular import, and then this was another entry from that import. Now, just like if these reviews had come in naturally, so if they'd been submitted on the website or if I'd put them in individually, I have all the same options here. So I can disapprove these, I can edit them, make changes, or I can delete them from here. Then over here on Needs Reviewed, if these look good to me, then I can go ahead and say, okay, well this one only gave me a 3-star review. I can make changes here. If the 3 stars was a mistake, I could change that even. And then I could say this, ultimately approve it or decline it. So let's say this is a 3-star review. So we'll just disapprove that one. We don't want to keep that one. And then our other one here, Sally Seller, was actually a 4-star review. So in fact, when you select 4+ star reviews, it's really only automatically approving the 5-star reviews. So the 4-star review did not get automatically approved. But again, if I think this looks good, we'll just save that and we'll just go ahead and approve it. And now that one's approved as well. So there you have it. That is how you can now import customer reviews into the DeltaNet instead of entering those in by hand if you have a large list of reviews from, say, a third party or basically any CSV that you have filled out with customer reviews. You just need to download the template, put the data in that template in a way that matches up with the columns properly, and then follow through this import process, and you'll have all of these reviews entered into the system for you. So, as always, thanks a lot for joining me. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to give us a call or send us an email at support@deltagroup.com, and we can help you through this process or whatever else you need. Thanks a lot.